Hi everyone and welcome to Dennis Deep Cuts, the 6th installment of this fine YouTube series that I'm working on. Thank you for making it all the way here. I just came home from tour a couple of days ago. My brain's quite fried. We had an average of 580 kilometers of driving in a van per day. It was great times, but I haven't really prepared anything special. So today I'm just going to show you a bunch of records that I bought on tour and talk a little bit about that, and hopefully it'll be short and smooth. I cannot promise anything. All right, let's do it. So I just got back from touring a European tour with Invasion. We did 16 shows in 16 days. A lot of work, but tons of fun, and I'm thankful to all of you that came out and checked it out, and to all the people that helped us out in any way. One of my favorite pastimes while being on tour is, of course, going to the local record store and finding records that I did not know that I needed, but then when I see them, I really need them. This time, there wasn't a whole lot of time to do that, but I managed to squeeze in a couple of good record stores. So I'm going to show you 10 records that I bought that I'm pretty excited about bringing home to my collection. Talk about them a little bit and hopefully maybe make you excited about buying some records or listening to some music. So let's do this. Let's do these. Let's do it and see where we end up. The first record I want to show you is a Swedish band called Svart Katt. They're from Stockholm. We played the first show of the tour. We played with them in Örebro. Great band, melodic Swedish punk rock in the vein of bands like Mass Hysteria or Vonna Inget. I love the fact that all the songs are really short and really compact, so it's it's quite condensed, which I really like. It's a cool record. It's brand new. They have another record out on some 7 inches. Svart Katt, great band. Check it out. They're really cool. Segueing from Svart Katt, which means Black Cat, to the Black Cat in Washington, D.C., to Dischord Records. Almost flawless. Dischord Records is one of my favorite labels. One of those labels that I really collect. I have not all of their records, but I have all the records that kind of matter. I have a little bit of a list of records I still don't have, but the stuff that you need, I have it all, basically. And they're still putting out records, and they're still doing some really cool stuff, not only reissues, but actually new bands. And here's a Dischord record from 2022. It's the band Hammered Hulls with their debut album. Hammered Hulls is Alec Mackay from Faith and Ignition. He's also famous for being the guy on the Minor Threat cover. The one and only Fake Names show we played so far, we played with the Hammered Hulls, and they were great. They're very DC, very Dischord, and it's a really cool record. I love the fact that Dischord is still putting out cool music. There's a new Soul Side record out that I need to get my hands on soon, or maybe my bandmate Johnny will send me one of these days. Anyway, Hammered Hulls, check it out if you're a fan of Faith and Ignition and that general Dischord sound that we love. Hammered Hulls, great. All right, some more new hardcore. Here's a band from Canada called Bootlicker, a record called Forever Playing the Game. This is raw and wild and tough. When I put it on my stereo, it sounded like my speakers were busted. That's kind of what it sounds like. Fantastic record. From 2021, I'm sure that if I would have found it last year, it would have been on my top list of the best hardcore records of last year. But it's a great record, and if you like your hardcore violent and raw, I suggest you check out Bootlicker. It's a phenomenal little record. And here's another record from 2021 that I've been looking for a while. It's Blue Anxiety with the record Play Dead. They call themselves Dark Freestyle. It's a New York band. It's hard to describe kind of what it sounds like, but it sounds like a mix of industrial synth drum machines, but played by a bunch of hardcore kids. Super political lyrics, very anarchistic, insanely good. Probably one of my favorite records in a very long time. Blue Anxiety. It's like there's this whole weird scene of bands where it is like hardcore bands, but it's all digital. It's all like with drum machines and synthesizers. And this is a prime example of that. And I love this record. It's so damn good. Blue Anxiety with Play Dead. If you like your music to be political and insane, then I suggest you check this record out. It's from last year as well, 2021. One of the things I really like to do while I'm tour is if you go to a place you've never been before, you go to the local record store and you ask, what's the best punk records from your area? We played a show in Zagreb with Invasion this time around. We never played there before. We did play in Split a couple of years back, which is like a touristy place, but this time we played in Zagreb and went to a really good record store and asked the proprietor what's some good Croatian punk and hardcore, and he said, well, you know, since Croatia is a kind of a new country, you are asking about Yugoslavian punk and hardcore, and I said, yes, I am. He gave me a bunch of really cool stuff, and I bought a bunch of cool stuff, and one of the coolest records is this one. It's a Yugoslavian band called Paraf. They started out as a punk band, then turned like dark wave, post-punk kind of. This is kind of sounds like Susie and the Banshees, a bit more raw. All their stuff is really cool. This is a reissue of their second record, and I really, really like it. And I like the idea of buying like local punk stuff and checking out, you know, what's their equivalent of the Swedish versions, you know, that I talked about a couple of episodes ago. So Taraf from Yugoslavia is definitely worth checking out. It's really cool. One of my favorite record stores is a little store in Berlin called Static Shock. It's run by my friend Iffy. And I make a point of going there every time I go to Berlin. I go to that record store and he always makes me buy a ton of records. And this time was no exception. He's a super cool store. A lot of used stuff that is great. And a lot of new punk and hardcore stuff. If you want to check out the new stuff, it's a real cool store. I bought this one. German punk hardcore band EA80. This is the third record, and this is probably the most expensive record I bought on tour. A German punk band, I think they're still around. They released a shit ton of records. This record is really cool. It reminds me, weirdly enough, a little bit like Later Day Damned when they turned slightly gothic, but it's not really that. Some of it's really raw and rough, and some of it's kind of ambient and gothic and punky, but it's a super cool record, and EA80 is one of my favorite German punk bands. So if you want to check out some German punk, you check out some EA80 stuff. I think there are some reissues of all their albums. This is original pressing, and it's a bit pricey, but definitely worth it. More German music. There's going to be a couple of German records now. You spent a lot of time in Germany, you buy a lot of German records, why not? This is my favorite band. It's definitely my favorite German band. It's also one of my favorite bands just in general. Einsturz and the Neubauten, industrial noise rock madness. And this is their second 12-inch called Thirsty Animal. And this was actually on my want list. I'm super excited that I found this one. It has Lydia Lunch and Roland S. Howard on it. Roland S. Howard is my favorite guitar player, I think. He played in the Birthday Party with Nick Cave, and then Blixa from Neubauten started playing with Nick Cave in the Bad Seeds after this. So it's interesting how things interconnect. Roland, everything that he did is great. I love all the birthday party stuff, of course, but these Immortal Souls and also his 2 solo records are fantastic. And here's probably a picture of me at the Roland S. Howard Lane in St. Kilda in Australia. When I was there last time, I made a point of going to there's a small alley named after him. He sadly passed a couple years ago. He's fantastic, and what a treat to have one of your favorite bands on an EP together with your favorite guitar player. Neubauten, you need everything to live a dignified life. I think it is interesting. They're one of those bands that were peripheral for me for a long time. You see the tattoos everywhere, and then a bunch of friends that went to them. I always thought it was a bit weird and noisy, and then I listened to the record called En de Noy. And it's like one of their more commercial records, but it's a record that made it click for me. And I heard that record, I'm like, oh, I love this band. And now I have all of their stuff. It's insane. So I'm very glad I found this one. Excellent. More German music, more used. This is a band called X-Mal Deutschland with their first 12-inch, Incubus Succubus. They had a 7-inch before this, and then after this they had a whole slew of really great albums. They are, if I'm being lazy, I would say that they're the German Susie and the Banshees. I am being lazy because it's not that really, but in that kind of vein of like dark reverb-drenched post-punk with like the rolling drums and a female vocalist with a little bit of a high register. They're great, and this is a really cool 12-inch that I'm glad that I found. So more German rock, and if you like your music to be post-punk, check out X-Mal Deutschland. They're really, really cool. All right, so the last German record I'm going to show you is this band called Camping Sex. This is a reissue that is actually released on the label of the record store, Static Shock. This is great German, noisy, nihilistic guitar rock. Super good. I didn't know about this band, and if he gave me this reissue that has a really cool little booklet with really nice photos, and the beauty of reissues, so you can get stuff like this. Definitely one of those records, after listening to it, I'm like, okay, I need this on the original pressing, because that's just the kind of person that I am. But if you want to check out the reissue, then you should, because this is fantastic. They only did one record, and there's like a Thurston Moore quote on the record saying that it was super influential for Sonic Youth. So if you are one of the people that love Sonic Youth as much as I do, then you need to check out Camping Sex. German rock at its finest. All right, just one more record, and this is the one that I might be most excited about bringing home. And it's a Yugoslavian punk compilation called Novi Punk 78 to 80. It's a compilation with all the best Yugoslavian punk bands from that time period, and it's super cool because it's like a double LP, and the other LP is the follow-up to the first Yugoslavian punk comp, and this is the second one. It's a couple of years later. On the first record, most of the bands are kind of rock and roll punk rock in the vein of like British punk rock. It's fantastic. Like all this stuff is really good. And on the second record, it's a bit more new wave. There's some post-punk, and there's some stuff that borders on hardcore. It's all great. It's all fantastic. It's like a really nice compilation. And both these records are very hard to find. So someone did us all a favor and put it together on one like double LP. Plus, there's this amazing booklet with super cool photos and interviews in English. So if you want to know everything about Yugoslavian punk from 78 to whatever, 86 or whatever it is. I think you need this compilation. It's super cool, and it has a ton of stuff in it. It's like a bonus 7-inch. There's a whole slew of inlays. I mean, so I can't close it because there's so much stuff in it. This is a record that I'm definitely the most excited about picking up on tour, and the music's great. The historical document is fantastic, and yeah, there you have it. A lot of European stuff, Yugoslavian, German, some Swedish. I'm very excited in listening to this record again. I mean, I already ran through them once in preparation for this. I also bought a whole bunch of other records, but these were the 10 ones that I was the most excited about. I hope that you found something that you are interested in checking out. Yeah, Christmas is around the corner, so I hope your holidays are amazing and that you get to listen to a lot of music and that you get some records for Christmas. And then I will see you in a week. Thanks for checking out my YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about my amazing content. And see you soon. Stay wild, my friends. Thank you.